Hi everyone, Peter Giannatos here with International Master Zurab Javakhadze, who just beat Richard Francisco in what people are whispering about a fascinating end to a game. So, Zurab, why don't you take us through the game and
Yeah.
show us sort of the highlights of the game and so forth?
Hi guys, thanks Pete for
Sure.
introduction. So I think this was one of those games that you're really you really enjoy playing, even though it's one moment I was really upset on myself. So it was Scotch opening. Knight takes d4, bishop goes to c5. Okay, it's still pretty much like one of the main lines. Probably knight f6 is definitely the main line here, but bishop c5 is not a new move. Bishop e3, and the main line here is obviously like queen f6, but I didn't look at this theory for long, so I didn't want to enter a theoretical battle without preparations. So I decided to choose calmer option, bishop b6, where objectively white should be slightly better, but to be honest, I'm not exactly sure how.
Well, just to show the audience, like the reason that you have to play like queen f6 or bishop b6 is they're threatening knight.
Yes, exactly. So white's threat here is to take on c6, which wins the piece, right? Knight takes c6, and then bishop takes c5, right? So I need to somehow defend that. Queen f6 is the main line, but I think the line goes c3, knight g e7, but it's really sharp. So probably f4. I'm not sure. Yeah, bishop c4 first, right? To stop d5, but it's very concrete. So I didn't want to enter like concrete theoretical battles here. But yeah, anyways, bishop b6. But objectively, it's a passive move. It gives white too much space. After knight c3, let's say, and he can immediately like finish development and queen d2 castle as it happened in the game. Knight g e7. Probably another main line here should be knight to f6. But the thing with knight g e7 is after castle, in some variations, you have like f5 counterplay with f5. So honestly, I used to play this a lot in Blitz, so I was like, let's try knight g e7. So queen d2, and so he intends to castle long, and then somehow start the attack on the king side. So castle, and d6. So my idea is now to play f5. And somehow, like, if I manage to play f5, then I also exchange some pieces, so I get more like space. I'm not sure for d5. I think it shouldn't be good because he takes here, takes, and I think it immediately drops the pawn, right? Yeah, immediately it should drop the pawn immediately on d5. So yes. Anyway, I played d6 here, and he went f4. So f4 was one of my considerations, but like it's met with immediate f5. So I'm not sure. Actually, what I was thinking about during the game was g4. It looks a little strange, but or g4 or maybe bishop e2 first. And the idea of g4 is like, let's say if I take, he just moves away the rook. Yeah. And let's say next move he wants to play rook g1. So g5 looks really scary for me. So maybe it's good. Maybe it's like he's doing fine here, but I'm not sure exactly how to defend. Probably bishop e7 and knight g6 or something like that. But he has counterplay with f4, and now f5 won't be that effective because then he has bishop c4 check. Yeah, bishop c4, and anyways, well, at least interesting in my opinion. Okay, so f4 in the game, I played f5 because if I don't play f5, then I pretty much don't have any counterplay here. So I need to play f5. I remember that like long time ago when I was looking at this variation, I saw that e5 was not good, but during the game, I'm not sure exactly what's happening on e5 because it looks pretty interesting. Let's say I take here, he takes on c6.
Yeah.
Well, I probably take here because, okay, I have two options. So one option is probably knight takes c6. And let's say he takes here, I take, he takes here, and I take, and he takes here. That's probably bishop e6,
Yeah.
and black should be doing okay, right? Yeah. But
E5 pawn is.
yeah, if I manage to get my pieces out, my concern was that I was not able to develop my pieces on time. So maybe bishop c4. He should involve here somewhere. He should involve bishop c4 check first. Okay, let's say after. Yeah, he can also play rook d2. Actually, that's pretty interesting because if I take there, he takes on e7. So he gets like two piece, right? For the something like this. So I'm not probably white is better here for sure. Okay, let's go to back to the main line. So he played bishop c4. Okay, e5 is interesting. Let's just consider it as interesting.
Yeah.
And it's definitely worth analyzing, in my opinion. So in the game, he played bishop c4, which is also pretty logical because after king goes to h8, he gets my white squared bishop. I'm forced to take bishop takes e6. But for fun, I want to draw attention to knight a5, which I was seriously considering this kind of move. So little queen sacrifice, but I get quite some pieces there. Knight takes c4.
Yeah.
Queen to d3 or e2.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Let's say e2. So I take with the knight because if I take with the bishop, then he just moves away, and then my knight on c4 is uncomfortable to defend. Probably impossible. So knight takes e3. And the thing is, if I manage to get third piece, then I have like serious counterplay already. And he cannot comfortably get out. But thing is, he might have rook d3. So now if I take here, then he takes there, and it's already white is obviously doing better because he has queen for rook and the piece, right? So white's position is obviously superior. But what was interesting here is knight g4 because knight still cannot get out, right? So I'm also like my threat is knight f2 here. So this might be actually interesting. Like let's say he takes here, I take. He takes here, I take this, but now I have like knight f2. This is threatening. So I'm not sure, to be honest, what's happening because this queen is also not in a comfortable situation.
Yeah.
Like rook e8 and then maybe bishop f2 or something like that. It looked interesting, but the reason why I refuted this immediately, I mean, after thinking for a few minutes, was probably after taking knight c4, he can take bishop takes b6. So if I take there, he takes here. So let's say I take here, he takes here, and this knight on d8 looks little weird, but apparently after rook d6 he's doing fine because I won't be able to threaten it just simply, right? Let's say if I play bishop, he can just rook d1 and he's pawn up. So it could be interesting, but sorry about that. But the thing is, I cannot develop my bishop because then b7 pawn drops. So I also have a problem of development. So I think this immediately refutes this like little interesting queen sacrifice. So I decided to go for simple like bishop takes, and f takes e4. Well, he should take knight takes e4 and knight f5 because obviously I cannot allow knight g5 to happen. And then my white squares are very weak, right? So I need the counterplay immediately. Knight f5 is after knight f5. Objectively, I think it's close to equal, in my opinion. It's close to equal because if he takes here, then I take with a pawn, and like a file will be very annoying for him. counterplay, because if he plays knight g5, let's say I play queen f6, I defend f7, and then somehow on a5, I think I have enough counterplay. So he decided to trade this bishop, rook f5, and I think it's more or less equal here. At least that's how I evaluated this position. And here he made a little inaccuracy, rook h to e1, and I'll show you in a little bit why it's inaccuracy. So queen f8. Now I want to trade there, and then f4 pawn will drop, right? So he needs to defend it with g3, which is objectively a mistake probably. So now I have d5, and the point is, if he takes here, then I take, and a2 pawn, like knight c3, d4, and a2 pawn drops. So he needs to go to g5, the only move probably, because if he goes back to c3, then I have d4, right? And I win a piece there. And the same thing if he goes to f2, right? Yeah. So he needs to go to g5, I play d4, and once bishop retreats back, I have bishop a5. So he loses an exchange here, because if he plays c3, then it's like his king will become very weak. Queen a3 check, and immediately rook comes to b5, and it's disastrous. So he needs to give me an exchange, but probably he has little counterplay here, because I cannot defend mate comfortably, because if I play h6, he has g4, so he gets that exchange back. Probably I'm still better because I have this check and I'm pawn up, yeah. But definitely rook e8 is a better move. A nice little tactical trick. So the point is, if he takes here, yeah, I take, and he cannot take my rook because back rank is too weak. So queen e1 checkmate. So after, let's say, if he tries to defend it, then I go already to queen to g6. So then I can just move freely with my rook. So I'm just exchange up there. And the nice trick might be actually rook g5. Yeah, but okay, exchange up. So black is obviously standing better there. So he decided to go rook d1. And I play knight b4 here. I'm not sure if knight b4 is the correct move. It just looked really good, because the thing is, if he takes queen d4, then I have rook to d5, queen goes to c4. Probably rook d1 is also winning, but this is a little beautiful variation. Yeah, if it takes here, then I take, and queen d6, and he's getting mated on the first rank. So he went queen to b3, and I thought that c5, and I just defend d4 pawn. My king is safe, so I should be able to like comfortably convert this. But after a3, actually, white might get little counterplays. For example, he gets b7 pawn, and somehow if he manages to transfer his knight to e5, then I should probably sacrifice, let's say h6, right? Knight f3, and he gets his knight to e5, and my rooks are stuck, and his knight is really strong on e5. So I will probably have to sacrifice on e5, so I have to give exchange back. So definitely white gets counterplay there. Probably what I was thinking afterwards, knight c6 would be the best, and just like hold on this exchange, rook f6, and try to play like slowly, because point of knight c6 is I have control over e5 square, very important square, I think, for the knight. But what happened in the game, I definitely allowed counterplay, and probably I misevaluated a little bit here his chances. I thought that after queen b7, I have rook f4. And the idea of rook f4 is he cannot take queen d5 because I have rook f5 and I win an exchange back. So his counterplay decreases very much. So on rook f4, he should take. I take with the queen, and king goes to b1, and I take queen to g5. Probably interesting line would be knight to c3 check. He takes, and I have this rook b8. I win a queen, but the thing is, he has too much material for that queen. For example, he can just take simply queen to b8, and if I take, he has king to a1, and this trick doesn't work because he has rook d8 here, and if I take knight f7, and I lose. So he gets here two pieces and the rook for the queen, so it's probably more than enough. So knight c3 trick doesn't work. So I played queen to g5, and I thought that I had to be better. And objectively, I still think that I have to be better here because his bishop is very bad, right, on g1, and his king is weak. So I have target on c2 pawn, G1 bishop is bad, so rook e2. So I thought that after h6 I had to be like much better, but it turns out that it's not that easy at all. So he has this queen f7, and now it's not clear like where should I go with my rook. Let's say probably rook e2 is the best move, which did not happen in the game. Rook e2, and he has something like queen f3, and then I was thinking I could put my rook to g2 just to like pin that bishop. If he moves, then I take here. So I'm not sure, like I should be better for sure, but he definitely has counterplay because like my king is pretty weak, right? So bishop g3, and then this a pawn might become annoying because he might like start just marching. Well, okay, still better. That's what I had to do. But what happened in the game was I played rook to b8, and I gave him too much counterplay. Honestly, I missed rook e1. Pretty simple, but the thing is, I was considering only just rook f1, and on rook f1, I have this trick d3. So basically, now if he takes, then queen d2, and he cannot defend b2 pawn. And if not, then knight c3. I have d2 ideas, and it's too much to handle probably for him. So rook e1, and suddenly after rook e1, I cannot play d3 because then he just check, and I take, and queen to e4 check, and probably he has perpetual here. And if I play this, then then he just trades on d3, right? Maybe g3 I have. I'm not sure. Maybe g6, but take on c5, but d2, right? Yeah. Okay. Wait, d3? Oh, okay. He will just take here first, and once I play queen d2,
then he can right.
Then he can do it.
Yeah,
So simply, right? Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
And now he will have perpetual for sure.
Yeah.
And maybe even more than perpetual. So I was really upset here that I missed such a simple idea, right? Rook e1 and rook e8. But afterwards, game evolved in a very interesting fashion. So I was actually happy that I did this. So king goes to h7, and here he played bishop f2, which is, I think, a mistake, and he should play, I'm not sure how, but he should, well, let's say king a1 would be better. And we will see why bishop f2 is a mistake. So the thing is, now if I play immediate d3, or he takes here, and if I go queen d2, then he has check, and if I go back, then he has queen e5. So he defends that b2 pawn, plus he's threatening my rook on b8 with the check, right? So I don't have queen f2. So here, let's go back. Yeah. I was thinking that I thought that he missed knight c3 idea. Knight c3. And if he goes, well, he should go king a1. I have d3. And the idea with this is now if he takes immediately, then I go queen to d2. And if he if check, I just go king h8, and he cannot defend mate on b2. well, rook b1 just drops the exchange and probably it's lost afterwards, right? So I thought that he missed that, but while calculating all this, before I played knight c3, I see that he has this little trick, h4. So it's not obvious where should I go with my queen, because if I go queen to d2, then he has check, and king h8, he just takes there with the queen. And if I take f2, he takes on c3 and he defends rook on e1. So not good, definitely. So I was kind of like really disappointed here that it looks beautiful, right? d3, but h4 might be just refutation. So I was trying to make it work somehow. So I found this really beautiful idea, in my opinion. Queen goes to g4, and I was really like, I couldn't stop smiling during the game when I saw this idea.
Yeah.
So queen goes to g4,
Yeah.
and the thing is, now if he takes here, then I have just d2 and I promote.
Yeah.
If he takes on d3, which happened in the game,
Yeah.
we'll see it in a little bit. Just to say rook g1, mention rook g1. If he plays rook g1, I just take it and then d2, and I promote. So this is also kind of beautiful.
Yeah.
But what's the key move in the game, I think, after c takes d3, which was missed by my opponent, was queen goes to b4.
Oh.
So queen goes to b4. So now, obviously, the point is, if he takes here, then I have checkmate from a8.
Yeah.
So apparently, a file here is also like becomes the point, right? It becomes the weakness. So after queen b4, I think it's just lost.
Yeah.
Because the only move to defend the checkmate is queen to a2. Pretty beautiful, this one also. Because otherwise, let's say if he plays something like rook e2, which should be also consideration, right? Because I cannot take the rook because queen is hanging, right? But yes, I have queen a3, and then it's checkmate on the first rank. And the same thing happens if he plays rook b1.
Right.
Yeah, queen to a3. So the only move to save the game is queen to a2. And initially, before I played knight c3, I thought I was kind of disappointed with this that, oh my god, he has queen a2 and he saves the game, because if I take knight a2, he takes. Actually, it was funny that initially I thought that rook a8 here was still winning, because he had to play b3. I take knight b4, he goes king b1, knight takes d3, so I forced then this end game.
Yes.
And well, I probably play something like the rook b8, then he needs to defend it, and then king g6, or not pawn g6, king g6. So I think I should be winning here. Maybe white has like slight chances to hold here, but objectively it should be better, obviously, for black. But what I missed here was on rook a8, he can simply play king b1, so I don't get that endgame. So basically, if I take here, then rook d1, and it's like material is equal, plus he has bishop, so he should like have at least a draw here, like pretty comfortably. So I got like I was really disappointed about this line that queen a2 saves the game. But I saw afterwards, then I have rook a8, this little trick. So now he cannot move his queen away, because then I take on a3 again.
Right.
And otherwise, he just like, I take queen on a2.
Yeah.
And if he takes my queen, let's say he plays something like rook e4, right? Then I, because I can take there because he takes on my queen, right? But then I have just simply knight c3 at checkmate, right? So what happened in the game was the only move to save, I think, is bishop takes c5. But then I just win a piece, and I think the resulting endgame should be winning pretty easily, because let's say if he plays rook d1, which is probably the only move, because otherwise then I win another pawn, right?
Yes.
Then I probably play knight c2 check and something like knight d4.
Yes.
That's what I was thinking at least, and then I just go king g6 and king h5, and I will probably win h4 pawn, and then somehow sacrifice knight to these pawns, and yeah, my pawns will be much faster. So yeah, I think it was a beautiful game. This nice little idea, queen here back, queen g4, queen b4.
Yeah, queen b4 is very, very nice.
Yes, and well, I think it's not very easy to find on the board. So I was kind of like proud.
Yeah, these are here with it's like these three moves are very obscure. So it's like queen b4, then queen a2,
queen a2,
which is like right.
Yes,
and rook a, like it's
and
just,
rook a8, right?
Yeah.
It's not obvious moves to like see immediately.
So we
didn't show that.
Yeah.
So if he takes on c3, I just capture queen c3. King goes queen b2. If he goes queen b2, then I take rook a3.
Yes.
King b1, rook b3. So I win a queen, and yes. And if he goes king b1 there, then I just have rook b8 check, and it's I win a queen anyways. So I'm not sure what computer thinks about all this, but I think that after like queen b4, it should be even after knight c3, that it should be pretty neat and clean. At least I think so. I spent like around 20 minutes here, so I tried to calculate every possible variation from white side. So yeah, I think from here it's really clean. It would be interesting actually to check it on the computer. Later on.
Well, congratulations on a nice game.
Thank you. Thanks.
Yes, and thanks for the interview, and good luck in your next 3 games.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.